Hi, my name is Joseph Benjamin. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Inspiring Moments. All right, so today is not about me, because of course there'll be certain episodes here where I will just be the one to talk to you guys. But today I have a special guest, somebody I have so much respect for, I have profound respect for this woman. Okay, she's called the Soul Doctor. She has helped a lot of people go through their processes of reinvention. She's the reinvention doctor. She's someone who is a victim of abuse and domestic violence, but she has come out through it. I mean, somebody that suffered suicide ideation and all of these things. I'll let her be the one to speak a lot about her. Let me bring her on. People, get ready to meet my amazing guests. Please, when you log in from wherever you're logging in from, please just indicate in the chat room there, I am logging in from Mars. I'm logging in from Pluto. I'm watching you from Alagbado. I'm watching you from Okoko. I'm watching you from Aba. Anywhere, just indicate. The reason why I'm saying that is so I can acknowledge where you're watching from as I acknowledge you. And the time is passing, it's ticking away, because my guest is here, because I cannot keep her waiting. You can see how elegant she's looking, and she's ready for business. You can see she's ready for business. Coach J, how are you
very
doing?
well, thank you.
And your audio is low, though. I don't know if it's me.
Okay, is it still low?
You're good. No, you're good now. You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Hi.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest. Welcome the Soul Doctor. She needs very little introduction, but honestly, she deserves the introduction. Her name is Jola Grace Emmanuel. Ladies and gentlemen, so please, can we give a clapping emoji right now in the chat room, please? Let's clap for her. Let's clap for this woman. Let's clap, please. Everybody go ahead and clap for the Soul Doctor. Please go ahead. I won't stop until you all clap. Everybody clap. I want to see the claps going on there. Everybody clap for her. Give us, because by the time she gives her introduction, then you'd understand. Clap for this woman. By the time we're done, I promise all of you, you'll be doing more than clapping, you'll be dancing. Everybody clap for our Soul Doctor, my guest, please. Please, I want to see those clapping emojis. I want to see them fill up this chat space before we go on. Please, yes. Coach Tokes, I can see you clapping. Everybody clap as you're just logging in. Clap until the ink tea, the emoji, the clapping emoji, until the clapping emoji finishes from your phone. Clap. Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh, welcome, Coach Jola. Welcome. And please, before we go on, if you want to share this live feed, go ahead and share it for someone who will benefit from this. I promise you someone will, because what she's going to talk about here today is something that you pay. You'd literally pay her to sit and speak to you like this. I promise you. But I was able to calling this favor, because this woman, she's expensive to sit down and talk with. Please, she's expensive to sit down and talk with. So you do want to listen, okay? And look, I see there are quite a few people. Your fans are here. Your people are here. Look at them saying hi, Coach. Coach Jola. Coach Jola. And ladies and gentlemen, she resides in the United Kingdom. Coach Jola, well, let me leave you to introduce yourself. Please tell us about yourself and what you do.
Well, my name is Jola Grace Emmanuel. I'm popularly referred to as the Soul Doctor, and I'm passionate about the health and the healing of the soul. I'm a certified life and trauma recovery coach. I basically help abused women and men to heal and reinvent themselves for an excellent life, because I believe so much that there is life after trauma. I want to say a very big thank you to you for having me here, and I think it's an honor to be your first guest on this awesome, show that you have started. You've got a lot of value yourself. Every time you open your mouth to speak, I'm like, ooh, let's drop offering. Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for everybody that's joined. Oh my guys, I see Coach Tokes here. Hi, everybody.
Yes. Oma's therapy. I see you here. I will definitely respond to you. Oma is trying to get me on. I'll definitely respond to you. Thank you so much for coming on, Coach Jola. Thank you. Beyond knowing you professionally, we've had a very good friendship that has run for so many years. And I can boldly say that you're my covenant sister, because we have conversations that, border on various things. Every time we have a session is literally ISI, iron sharpening iron. Okay, and honestly, the time spent with you is invaluable. I must say that, and so I'm honored to have you here. Okay, take out time from your busy schedule to come here and share with the people. And your journey and your life has become your message. That is one thing I've seen following your career, following your process. I've seen that your journey and your life has become your message, and that has given birth to what your value proposition is. We're going to get in there. Okay, now, and I do not want to waste too much time, because like I said to people, when we are on here, if it's for 30 minutes, we'll be here for 30 minutes. When we're done with talking, unless people are asking certain questions, we'll go out. Because for me is get value at its optimum and close it down. Okay, all right, because that way you keep people going. So Kujola, you are someone who has gone through a journey maritally, okay, and it's especially in church. And excuse me, people, note this, I'm not taking a jab at the church, because we're all part of the church. So if we take a jab at the church, we're taking a jab at ourselves. Okay, no, we're trying to balance a scale here, so that we look at things from both divides. Because there are people who look at things, logically, they'll say, not like us spiritually. So we'll call them, okay, how people consider things in the secular world and how we consider things in the spiritual world. But no, at the end of the day, we're all human. We gravitate towards the same energy. Okay, so my thing for you, Coach J, is this. It's common knowledge, especially where we're coming from in Africa, how much abuse has dug deep into the very fabric of our society, our existence, our people, and it's an epidemic. It's become an epidemic in the society, especially in Africa. There's been various cases, stories up and about, and at the end of the day, a lot of people, most times, they'll blame the victim. Why didn't you get out early? Why didn't you speak up early? And people never know that, look, it's not always that easy. Because me saying this, okay, I'm speaking from experience as well. Okay, I'm speaking from experience, not just my own personal experience, even close to home. Okay, do you understand? So Kojola, kindly share with us your story, what you went through in regards to abuse and domestic violence. And please note this, people, this platform, why I've set this thing up, like I tell all my guests, please understand that when you come here, are you willing to be vulnerable? We're letting the gloves off. That is what distinguishes my Instagram live, these sessions that I've set, from every other one. Because I want people to come and connect to value, to real life experiences that are relatable. Because people are tired of listening to scripted versions of life experiences. They want things that are close to home. Come and take the gloves off. Be vulnerable. Because I always say to people, vulnerability is not weakness. Absolutely. There's strength that is captured in vulnerability. Okay, and I know that we've had this conversation yourself, of course, and you don't even keep it. This is something you speak about in all your sessions. So please share your story.
Thank you so much once again for having me here. I don't know how much time you've got, because my story is long.
Oh, Kojola, please go on. Like I said to you, we are good to go. We're good to go. We want to hear your story. We want to hear, because that is what this is about. Listening to these stories to be
Absolutely.
informed. Yeah.
I mean, basically, like you said, I went through domestic violence and abuse for 16 years. And a lot of times when I say that, like you just said, people will be like, oh my God, I mean, why didn't you leave earlier? Why did you stay for that long? And there's this mindset of people blaming the victim. Well, you could have left. It's not as if they tied your hands down there, you know, stuff like that. And even the recent, I got people that know me. I mean, you know me, you know, I hardly get angry. I just really find it difficult to get angry. But I was angry a few months ago now when Osinachi passed, and people were like, oh, but they told her to leave. Why didn't she leave? She could have left, you know, also. And I was like, enough already, because you don't understand what is going on in the mind of the abuser. You don't know what is going on with the victim. Okay, so, and I say to people, before anybody can start abusing and controlling another person, they have done something to their mind. Okay, and I know you're a person of faith, and I'm a person of faith, and I'm going to talk about the Bible. I'm going to, you know, refer to the scriptures in a conversation. You know, so when God created man, he says, let us make man in our own image. And then he said, male and female created he them. And then he said, let them have control, let them have dominion over what? The fish of the sea, the birds of the air, over the animals. It never at any point said the male should have dominion over the female, or the female should have dominion over the male. Because let's just say that abuse is not gender biased. It happens to both female and male. Now, when another person gets to that point where they are controlling another human being, they are saying in essence that the person they are controlling, the person that they are abusing, is an animal. Because think about it, if you tie a dog to a stake and you tie that dog to a pole, the dog just sits there obediently. Even though the dog wants to, you know, run around and play, but the dog knows that I don't have control. I have someone that owns me, that must control me. The same thing with a lot of animals. Okay, so as a human being, we are not wired to be controlled by another person. So think about it. If you're walking on the road and somebody comes and just hits you, or somebody comes at and verbally abuses you and says, oh, you're very stupid, you're foolish. I mean, you are going to react. You're going to be like, excuse me, you just stepped on my toes. You know, you are going to react. So what happens when you're living with somebody consistently and they slap you and they beat you and they call you sort of names and they say sort of things to you and you don't react? You don't like, oh, stop it. Why are you doing that to me? You just sort of, you know, accept it. What happened is because this person has manipulated your brain. This person has messed up your brain before anybody can abuse, because nobody can ill-treat you without your permission. But they take the permission from you subconsciously. So when they meet you, and I was saying to somebody yesterday, I said, especially narcissists, because there are different kinds of personality disorder when it comes to abusive spouses. Narcissists fish for their victims. It's not just anybody that they will go and meet and get into a relationship with. They fish, they have their spec, you know, and I don't have time to start talking about that now. I probably will talk about it some other time. But when they meet you, they start speaking to your mind. They start distorting your normal. They start telling you things like, you know, you are not really fine. You better be happy that I'm in a relationship with you. They make you feel that you being with them, they are doing you a great favor. They make you feel as if everybody else don't like you. You know, you might dress up and, you know, you're feeling okay with yourself. You're going out there, look at you and say, look at what you're wearing. Do you think, is this what your mates are wearing? They'll make you feel small and they'll tell you, say, it's because I care about it. That's what I'm telling you. Nobody else will tell you outside. So gradually you begin to default to their, whatever they tell you, to their advice, to their opinion. You begin to think that their opinion really counts, that anything they say to you is 100% correct. You are actually addicted to their opinion. You are addicted to what they say and what you are getting from them. To the extent that when they physically assault you and they tell you, it's because I love you, that's why I'm beating you, you will believe it. And then they will tell you that it's your fault. So everything that goes wrong, it is your fault. If they beat you up, if they slap you, if they whatever they do to you, they will tell you that it is your fault, and you believe it. Because over time, they've made you believe that their opinion counts, their opinion is valid, they are the only one that cares about you. So I was in this, marriage relationship for 16 years. And, I went through every kind of abuse that you can think of. Emotional abuse, psychological abuse, physical abuse. Yes, I was beaten up on a number of occasions. Financial abuse. It was really, really horrible. People will say a husband cannot rape his wife, but I beg to differ, because sex is supposed to be between two consenting adults, regardless of whether they are married. So whether the person is your husband or is your wife, if they force you to do it, in my own opinion, and I stand to be corrected, but in my own opinion, I believe is abuse. So I went through every kind of abuse. And for me, I don't know whether to say fortunately or unfortunately, but I was in a church setting. So it was difficult for me to even think about leaving. And because again, I was
Kojola, sorry to cut you, but I need you to just maintain your train of thoughts. But just for clarity, everyone listening, church certain, but do you care to be a bit more explicit and say it? A church setting, church setting, what do you mean? Were you in the church?
Trust me, I'll get there. I'll get there. So it was a bit more, it was kind of difficult for me to say this is what is happening to me, or even to think that there can be another life outside of what I'm experiencing. Okay? And why I said that was because I was what they refer to in a church as the first lady. So the person I was married to was a pastor. So I was the first lady. So as a first lady, everybody's looking up to you. You have to, solve everybody's problem. You have wives that are coming to you crying that their husbands are doing stuff to man. You can't say, oh, don't worry, it is well, you'll be fine. Oh, sweetie, you are there. You are just, giving them. And inside you are crying.
And yet you had your own problems. And
there was nobody you could talk to. Remember that abusers, most of the time, they isolate their victims because they're very strategic. And listen, narcissists are super intelligent. They are very brainy, because before you can actually control another person's mind, you must be intelligent. You will have studied the person. You will know what makes the person tick. You will know the button to press. You cannot be dull. You cannot be, I don't want to use the word, to be an abuser. You are super intelligent. So in those instances, I was like alone. And then I was made also to believe that whatever was happening, because there was one person that I was so-called allowed to, who was a pastor as well. So this is the mentor, the pastor of this that you can speak to. That person made me feel what was going on was just a difficult marriage, and it was the devil. Sometimes I feel so sorry for the devil, because the things they pile on that guy's head. Oh, it's just the devil. Keep praying. Keep praying, keep fasting, you be submissive. They will ask you are you submissive? You need to be submissive. Joseph, you will not believe the things I did in the name of, let me try this. Maybe this week, maybe be submissive. I was sharing with a friend of mine that, and it's when I left that I started seeing things that in my head initially, I was saying, this is abnormal. But I had to unlearn and relearn. I had to question my normal, because I realized that my normal was very abnormal. But because I was just in that world, I didn't see anything else. I didn't go anywhere else. I didn't see other couples. I wasn't close to anybody else. It was just in my own little world. I remember there was a time when I was told, oh, I was disrespectful. I'll wake up in the morning, believe it or not, I will kneel down and greet this person. I'm telling you, oh, actually just to show that maybe I'm respecting. I will cook food, put the food on a tray, take it upstairs, and go and give it to the person in the room. And, you know, just all manner of things. Just to show more respect.
And so, and through all of this, you guys were keeping up the front in church.
Oh, yes, in fact, let me shock you. I was sharing this, I don't know on whose platform, and the person said, no wonder you don't smile when, you know, he says those things and all of that. You know, it was such an act that I said, I'm going to go and audition. I mean, thank God you're an actor. So if you've got any, if you have any movie lined up, please call me. I think I did a good job at it. I mean, I pretty much did a good job at it. Because there will be hostility, there will be fights, there will be all sorts. And then, in fact, there are sometimes that we get into the church. Remember I said I was first lady and, you know, the GO was sitting beside me. And he would just, and remember I said anything that goes wrong is my fault. He could just look around the church and see that something is wrong. Maybe the choir is wearing red. And why on earth are they wearing red? So we just, why is the choir wearing red? I don't know why they're wearing red. Oh, you must be very stupid. What do you mean you don't know why they're wearing red? You are so dumb. You are so foolish. You don't engage your brain. And then he will go. So in church. And then once it finishes, you know, most of the time what I do is I'm just like this. I just try to put my face straight because a lot is going on inside me internally. And I'm like, First Lady, they're looking at you. You cannot be crying inside the church.
Wow.
And this person will get up from his seat after that, walk up the pulpit and say, "Ooh, everybody up there, my beautiful wife. She's the most beautiful woman in my world. She's so beautiful. She's so this, she's so that." And I'll be thinking, am I mad? Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm delusional. Maybe this person just didn't say these words to me. You know, and abusers make you think. You actually get to a point, which is why I said sometimes people say, oh, they'll ask you, is he beating you? It's not beating you. Then don't worry, stay there. But excuse me, psychological and emotional abuse is deadlier than physical abuse, because this it simply means that somebody is killing you softly. You know, when somebody is giving you poison little by little, when you eat the poison, the first time you eat the poison, you're okay. Second time, you're okay. You can be eating that poison for a year, nothing will happen to you.
Yeah, truly, true. It's just gradually taking you apart, piece by piece.
Your essence, yourself, your being. And I used to say to people that there are 3 ways that victims die from domestic violence and abuse. So the obvious way is, okay, he beats her up, pushes her down the stairs, or him down the stairs, stabs him, because I know, like I said, it's not gender biased. You have women also stabbing men and all of that. And the person dies. Oh, the man has killed her, the woman has killed him, blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine. Now, the second way, medical research has proven that 90%, up to 90% of the diseases and illnesses that we experience in our physical bodies as a result of toxic stress. And imagine, see, our emotions actually is all over inside us, and is what makes us. So you can be angry. I was coaching a lady one-on-one a few weeks ago, and she came to our session and she said, I've been having this migraine headache, you know, I don't understand it. You've just been there. So I said, tell me about your week. What happened? And she was like, oh, okay, something happened between her and her partner. She was really irritated. She was just upset. And I began to deploy some intervention. And within 20 minutes, she said, oh, the headache has gone. It's gone. And I said, it's your emotion. You are carrying deadly emotions inside of you. And it deteriorated into physical illnesses. Now, you know about this. You know, I had cancerous tumor on my shoulder while I was in that marriage. Now, I had the operation done here in the UK at Royal Marsden Hospital in London. And the surgeons said to me, we've been doing this for so many years. It's very strange. We've not seen cancer grow on somebody's shoulder. That is really weird. And they were like preaching. I said, so if I had to get a graft, because the what they removed was so much. There was no way they could put it back with except putting a graft, and just grafting it and making it heal. And after I started my profession as a coach, as a therapist, I realized that there was a direct link between the pain you have in different parts of your body and the emotions that you are feeling. So if you're carrying the emotion of a partner, you feel pain on your shoulders. Now, I didn't feel pain on my shoulders. I actually developed cancerous tumors on my shoulder because of the abusive relationship I was in. Now, there's so many other illnesses that can come from toxic stress. High blood pressure, irritable bowel syndrome, all sorts of, bowel diseases, constipation, so many heart attacks, cardiovascular diseases, because of the toxic stress that you are in. Now, somebody that gets diagnosed with one of those things can die from that. And when that person dies, they will just say, he died from throat cancer. He died from this one. He died from that. No, it was the abuse that killed this person. Now, thirdly, remember I said our soul, if you think about the soul as an apple, every incident of abuse is chipping away, takes a bite of your soul. You are foolish, you don't engage your brain. I used to get horrible words I don't even want to be repeating back said to me. And I would look at myself like, I thank God for my parents, and I'll come to that in a bit. But while I was growing up, I didn't grow up with hearing those kind of words. It was strange to me. Like, how can you?
So that is why it's important how you grow, the environment you grow in, because that first formed who you are. And then getting into this marriage, you were seeing the opposite of what you were supposed to get. Exactly. Sorry.
That's fine.
Yes.
My parents had their disagreements, they had their arguments. But we know when they're sorting issues out, they go to their bedroom and they lock the door. Once you're approaching the room, maybe you're just going up to go out, and you don't see that the door is locked, and just reverse. They have an issue. But we don't see them take something, you're very stupid, you're foolish, shouting. Never. So for me, when those things started, I was like, what is going on? What's happening here? And every time there's an incident, every time you have verbal abuse, every time that person talks down and it's like that apple is beaten. That apple is beaten. That apple is beaten. So it's like, imagine that the soul is what is supposed to be keeping you, your soul, your soul consists of your mind, your emotions, and your will. But your soul is being damaged. All of those is being, and then one day, all that's left is just that middle part of the apple, that dry part. The whole apple is gone. This person sleeps, and the person doesn't wake up. I wasn't sick. Oh, we don't know what happened. Oh, because your soul is where you have the will to live. Do you realize that sometimes if you have a close friend or a relative who's been diagnosed, maybe with a terminal disease or with, a really serious disease, and the person is in the hospital, and every time you go and visit this person, just like, you can't do it, keep holding on, everybody's telling, and the person said, don't worry, I'm a fighter, I'll be fine, I'll keep fighting, I'll be fine. And then one day you go and visit this person, and the person said, oh, well, I'm tired, I can't fight again, I'm tired, I won't fight again. And then 3 days later, you hear that this person is dead. What do you think happened to that person? The will to live, they were still pushing. There was an engine. So all the time that sickness was still there, which is why even as therapists and as coaches, we understand that your mind is so powerful. Your subconscious is so powerful. You can create the life you desire with your mind. So this person had the will to live, and they kept using that will. I will survive it. I will live. I will pull through. And as long as they were doing that, they were okay. But the moment this person was like, oh, I'm tired, I can't even will, I can't even do anything, like they just lost hope. They lost it inside. Then the physical just correlated with what happened in their mind. And that's what happened to so many people have died from abuse that we don't know what happened to them. But you begin to see, I got to a point where I was moving around like a zombie. I didn't have any iota of zeal to live again. I mean, yes, there was a point in my life where I actually did attempt suicide. I took an overdose. There was an incident that happened one day, and there was so much pain. You know, when I'm feeling the pain, I feel actually physical sharp pain in my chest. When there's an incident, or he says words to me or pulls me down, it would rubbish me in front of my subordinates, in front of people. And that day I was like, this pain is too much. I took an overdose. I was trying to take painkillers, but I was like, no, 2 is not enough, 3 is not enough, 4 is not enough. And before I knew it, I took so much, I ended up in the hospital. But at this point, I wasn't even dealing with suicidation. I just didn't have the will to live. I just felt, let me go sleep and not wake up. Like, there's no point. What? My life is useless. I'm useless. There's nothing to, because I've been told for years that I wasn't valuable, I was useless, I was a problem. Anytime there's any problem, it was my fault.
Okay, Kojola, I want to ask you 2 things. While still talking about your story. So in the midst of this, first I want to ask is, was the church all that you had as a responsibility? You didn't have like a job that you had, like something else that was occupying you. The church was all you had as a responsibility. So that was your focus. And then secondly, whilst all of this was going on, how was this rubbing off on the children? Because the reason I'm asking about the job is, so you had nothing else to distract you. This was all. Okay, then there's a reason I asked that question, because it will actually lead to the next thing I want to. So in all of this, the church was your focus. This is what you had occupying you. And how was this?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there are different, I did mention financial abuse when I was talking about the different kinds of abuse that I went through. You realize that in my working with victims, people who are trying to come out and heal, I realized that there are different kinds of abusers. I've met people who are the victim, are the breadwinners. They bring in all the money, and the abuser just stays at home and still abusing that person. But in my own case, the abuser ensured that I was not financially empowered. Because they realize, in some, I'll just say this, it was 2019, January, at the beginning of every year, I just wait on God, switch off my phone and everything, and God told me it's time to start showing your scars. And I was like, okay, because if you notice, I really don't wear things that are off shoulder and everything, of course, because I'm a bit conscious about the scar there. Number one, I don't want to scare people. They'll be like, oh, what's that? So, but I was like, okay, God, I can't, somebody says they can't hear me. Can you hear me?
Oh, Jacqueline, you can't hear it?
Can you hear me?
Really? People, I can hear you. People, can you hear us? Please, if you can hear us, say yes.
If you can hear me, please give me a thumbs up.
Please.
Give me a thumbs up.
If you can all hear us, please just give me a thumbs up, please. So if you can't hear us, you probably need to exit and come back again. That's what usually, okay, fine, you can hear us. Okay, fine. So Jacqueline, you probably just need to close the app and come back again. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so remind me, I think I lost my train of thoughts there.
Yeah, you said that he made sure you were not financially stable, that you took away every
so in my own case, because so I remember what I was saying. I was saying that God told me to start showing my scars, and I was like, oh, what does that mean? I don't want to be scaring people with this and everything like that. And he says, no, I know you have a scar there, well, show it, but also you have a scar here, show people. And I remember it was a few months after that, my mentor, Coach Larry Olishola, interviewed me, and that was the first time I shared my story. And I was like, and I know that now my life is not really my own. I understand that my scar is for other people to get inspiration, to get encouragement, to get hope that look at me. All I just need is look at me. If I went through that, some things that I can't even share yet because I'm still going through the process. But I know that once this second chapter, so there are 2 chapters. Once the second chapter ends, I will be free to share it. Okay, but I've come to a place where I know that it's not really about me anymore. It's about so many people. You will not believe, especially in the church. I was thinking about it yesterday that there's a lot of work to be done in the church. And when I left, I wasn't very happy, and that is another. I don't want to, lose my train of thought, but that's just another story. So I think for me, this person knew that there wasn't really anything between me and that person, as it were. For some people, for some victims, they adore their abusers. That's why they have Stockholm syndrome. Some people do have Stockholm syndrome, like they just keep going back and keep going back and keep going back. And they're like, he was going to kill you. Why are you going back? Say, but he loves me and I love him. I think for me, I didn't have that. I think when I met him, he was already a pastor. I was in the choir. He liked me. I'm going to be his wife. I'm like, oh, why? Okay, why not? I mean, my naive mind thought if he's a pastor, then he must be a perfect human being. So I didn't even take my time to find out who this person was. I just knew what he was. And what he was what I was attracted to, and what he was what I got into a relationship with. Not who he was.
Not who he was.
What he was.
Attracted to what
not
he was.
I didn't take time to find out who the person was. So, I mean, for single people that are listening, don't just go for the what. Yes, the what is okay, but see, the who is much more powerful than the what. And the who is the person. Who is this person? Who are they? Their character, their values, their beliefs. Are they in alignment with yours? You couldn't take them all, just so obsessed with the words, like, this was, man, my home would be so perfect, we'll be praying every day. Hey, the anointing in that house will be powerful. Really?
As a matter of fact, they just get you. Yeah, you go after an idea of a person.
Idea. That was it. So this person ensured that I wasn't financially empowered, because the person knew that if I had money, I would have options. So even though I studied as an accountant, I have a master's in finance, he made sure that it was what he was doing that I was also working in with. So he had a church for so many years, and then after some years as well, he had a TV station. So I had to just be in all of that with him. And I remember one day I was and this person is such a micromanager that a lot of times he even wants me to sit in his office and be doing whatever I'm doing in his office so that he can be, knowing exactly what I'm doing. I remember one day I was just so frustrated. I said, can I please just go and get a job elsewhere? I mean, do I really have to be here and work with you? And this person said to me, if I refused to work with him, he was going to beat me up and send me to my father, and my father will not recognize me.
Wow.
I said, okay,
Pastor.
That one chance. I told myself I had entered one chance. I'm like, okay now. So I wasn't financially empowered. Even at times that I was supposed to be paid from his organization, it was still the accountant, it was the everything, it was still him that would expect to get the money from and all of that. And there was a lot of micromanaging, of me relying on him for everything, every dime, everything. I couldn't make decisions on my own. I had a go-ahead title, which I didn't have control to even make decisions. And people come and ask me something, I say, I'm coming. Let me go and ask them, and all of that. So that went on for years. So yes, in answer to your question, I didn't have any other thing to do. That was all that I had to do. So again, in doing that, they make sure that you are inside, you are within reach. Because if you go out and you are working somewhere, other people will influence you. You will talk to people and you're like, really? That is going on. No, that's not going all right. And all of that. So I was like really protected. I couldn't make friends. I didn't have any friends. All my friends that we finish school together, they'll be like, if I remember one was telling me after I left that, I was just wondering why you don't usually reach out. You're just on your own. Even my family, my siblings. they were like, they always look at me like I was stuck up, that I don't mix up with the family affairs. I said, how will I? If I try, they will. Sometimes it will not actually say no. It will just, that's when you will remember that, there's something that you need to do in the church. There's something that needs to be done this one. There's something that needs to be done that one. So I was just so isolated, and I was just on my own. I couldn't, speak to anybody. And then the only information I had was that just keep praying, this will go away. I prayed though, I confessed. I fasted.
So he made sure that he was the only one informing you, because you know what I always say, that whoever is informing you is forming you. So whatever information they're giving to you is forming the very basis for who you are. You understand? Because information transforms, but it depends on the kind of information. Information transforms, and lack of information deforms you. Okay, so but you have to be careful about the kind of information that you're getting. So he made sure that he was on top of everything, making sure that you were isolated from information that could liberate you. He made sure that he was the only one speaking into your ear, that all you could hear was that dominance from him. He was over you. Your entire life literally evolved around him. He has made sure that that was the picture that you had, and nothing more than that. My goodness. Like, this is and like I asked earlier, like, because look, like, the one thing a lot of people don't understand is, especially why I asked about the children earlier, and I'm also going to ask another question in regards to family. A lot of times, okay, we don't realize that even the very thing that we're going through, we think that, oh yes, our children do that thing. Your children are an extension of you, okay? They're an extension of you. So by reason of the connection that they have with you, whatever it is that you're going through unconsciously, okay, you'll be bleeding on them. You'll be bleeding on them. Okay, so that's what I'm asking in all of this, because I'm sure your children saw this. Just like the case of Osinachi, where her husband would beat her in front of the children, and sometimes tie her up and even ask the children to beat her. Okay, and not understanding that these things were beginning to form we're beginning to form the mindsets of these children, and then they'll feel like this is a picture of how it's supposed to be. And then, but in the midst of that, there's this conflict, because number one, they see a father who is this perfect person outside, and then inside there's this animal, someone who they do not know, which then creates an imbalance in them, and they're wondering, okay, not understand psychologically, you're messing these children up. So how was it on your children? I don't know, because honestly, I don't want to, because I literally understand. I don't even want to say I understand, but how was it on the children?
I mean, for me, if you remember, I said earlier on that if Hollywood, since now you are in Atlanta, so let me, before I said Nollywood, but now I'm changing my mind to Hollywood. Just remember that I'm here and I'm quite good at my craft. I think I acted really well. I was very good. And also, I think it wasn't just that I was acting. I think in my mind, I wanted to protect him. Because for a long time, for a long time, I didn't know I was being abused. Do you understand? The Bible says, my people perish for lack of understanding. People say what you don't know cannot hurt you, but that's the greatest fallacy. What you don't know is what is hurting you. When you know that this is what this thing is, then you can begin to take action towards it. But when you don't know, you're just there like, okay, something is wrong, but I don't even know what is wrong. I mean, if you're feeling pain in your body and I don't feel quite right, and you don't go to a doctor to get diagnosed and tell you this is what is going on, you won't even know how to get treated or what to do or what not to do. So for a very long time, I didn't know that I was being abused. I didn't even know anything like that existed. All I knew was the devil was attacking my home, and it was a difficult marriage, and I needed to keep praying. And I would say maybe, I mean, even if I blow my horn myself, I would say maybe being the good girl I was, I wanted to protect this person. So in my mind as a pastor, I didn't want people to see me as a bad person. So I knew the process. I knew the trigger. Especially with my children, I was very, very protective of my children seeing anything happening. It saw a few things because I normally say to people that if I didn't have the kind of temperament or personality that I have, I either would have killed him or he would have killed me. Because it's like what usually happens is somebody tells you to do something because they are controlling you, like, Joseph, stand up from that chair. And you're like, duh, why should I stand up? I say, stand up from that chair now before I slap you. I will do something you will regret now. And in your mind, you'll be like, I don't want them to do anything with that. Even people are, let me just stand up. So you stand up. But when you decide that, like, why will I stand up? This chair. No, I'm not standing up from this chair. You're not going to stand up. I will do something you will regret. You're not going to stand up. Stand up for something you regret. So I was like, I'm not standing up. Why should I stand up? It doesn't make sense for me to stand up. Then you get the beginning of your life. So a lot of times, because I know the process, I know the trigger, and I'm a very peaceful person. So I'll be like, okay, it's triggering, it's happening. So stand up. I would just stand up. I mean, I remember an incident. There was no way I could stop it from the children because we were in the car and the children were at the back of the car. We were going somewhere and there was an argument. I can't remember what the argument was about, but there was an issue and he just pressed the brake, boom, and stopped. And it was like, get out of the car. We're in the middle of nowhere. Where am I getting out to?
You're joking. And I was like, you're joking, right?
I'm not joking.
You're joking, right?
I'm not joking. The children were in the car. My children were in the car at this occasion I'm talking about. I was like, get out. I mean, where am I going to go to? And remember that this person was controlling even the finances. So a lot of times I didn't really have money. I didn't have cash on me. People will look at me. They will not. Some people come to me to help them, and I'm like, I can't help you because I don't even have money. But they think that you are driving this big car, you are living in this big house, you should have money. Oh, I didn't have cash on me. Wow. So get out of the car, and I was trying to say, well, let's talk about it. I realized that it was like you are cocking a gun, and you know that before this person shoots, just do what they say. Hands up and surrender. So I saw that it was getting to that age. Before I do something, once I said, before I do something you regret, I know the next thing is a slap or beat or something. So I just got down. I got out of the car. Of course, I had to find my way back home because I didn't have any money on me that day. And for me, I think that I really don't think that the children are not affected, because even in studying domestic violence and abuse, the children are like pseudo victims. So if you're living in a house where abuse is going on, it might not be happening to you, but because you are there, you are being abused as well. Because seeing things, and we're energy. We all carry energy around. How you enter a room and you just feel hostility. You just feel something is not right. The atmosphere just doesn't feel right. And you enter another room and you feel the energy, you feel vibrant, you feel, let's go for it, you can do anything. That is the same way when you're living in a home where abuse is going on. So the children, they're not exempted. They are also seeing this, which is why it's important for us to, and I salute every woman, every man that has taken the bold step to exit an abusive relationship, because you are teaching your children something. This is not normal. This is not normal. This is not the way, because I mean, I would never excuse abuse. Abuse is a learned behavior. Abuse is a choice that a person makes, because see, you cannot control what people do to you. You can control how you react. So the fact that you're walking on the road and somebody steps on your toes, you're not going to grab the person and strangle the person to death. I'd be like, but she stepped on my toes. He stepped on my toes. I have a right to kill him. You're not going to do that. Because you know that there will be consequences for doing that. So yes, somebody might really upset you and there might be a pain in your whatever. But it still doesn't give you a reason to hit them to call their names, to make them feel worthless. But sometimes abusers also grew up in a home where abuse was going on. So, yes.
Well, so it has formed who they are.
So
So
for
it's a
them,
norm
it is
for
a
them.
norm. Oh, but my mom abused my dad. My dad slapped my mom. So they saw it and there was no problem. It was okay. So as far as they're concerned, this is a normal thing. But in instances where one party, the victim decides that no, this is wrong, I'm gonna leave, and the children know why the other party left. They know that abuse is wrong, abuse is bad. I normally say that abuse tolerated becomes aggravated. If you keep tolerating abuse, because it's psychological, you get to a point where it just becomes like automatic. Stand up, you're not even thinking about it, whether it makes sense, whether it doesn't make sense. Kneel down there, you just kneel down, anything just you do it. Because you tolerated it over the years. And that person too has become more vicious. They keep getting worse. They keep doing more horrible things that they will normally not do years before, because you've been tolerating their abuse. You've been tolerating them. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't even know what they abuse. So I said, I didn't know I was being abused until I met a mentor. And you know, this woman was a very intuitive person. She just looked at me and said, "Oh, Jola, you're not happy. What's going on?" You know, because I'd been trained not to talk, I wasn't really going to say anything to this person. But the person, so I opened up and she was like, "Wow," she said, "This is abuse." She just told me, "Oh, this is abuse, you know, and you know, your life is at risk." So ever since I met this person, I met the person about 3 years before I eventually exited. She would check on me, you know. This person even called both of us, you know, counseling, talk about it, let's see what we can do, blah 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 blah. But he persisted, and there was an occasion that there was an incident. You know, he came because I knew, like I said, I knew how things were. If I had, that's what I said. People need to. I know lots of us are same blood sisters, and I said, see, that is one of the reasons why you cannot stay in an abusive relationship. It's not, yes, maybe person can kill you, but what about you? You are the innocent one. You are the victim. Now look at the mess you have put yourself in, because you've killed somebody who was abusing you. Let us say you go to court and there was a real life case that happened here in the UK a few years ago. This lady stabbed the man 11 times. She was a victim. The man was abusing her for years and years and years and years.
So something broke.
They sent her, you know, she was sentenced to life imprisonment, but her children came up and was like, no, our mom was being abused. So they turned it over, and you know, the woman was acquitted. But guess what?
Acquitted.
She's still carrying that guilt for the rest of her life that she killed a human being. Worth it? Is it worth it?
Because you remember you said something. You said abuse tolerated becomes aggravated, because that aggravation, okay, would actually spiral into something, okay, because something is just heaping up and just piling up until the lid pops up. You get the lid just tips over, and then what comes out of that person is something that it stems from things that have been piled on for so long.
Because at that point in time, that victim is not even in their normal mindset. Whatever decision that they make then is not coming from a right frame of mind.
Okay, so Jola, now whilst you were going through all of this, so ask this, so because of course, like I always say to people, I say, look, when you get married, okay, you're marrying into families. You get it? And you're not marrying into personalities in a sense. You're marrying into a culture, and you're marrying into a culture, and that culture can either define your marriage, or you are the one who comes with your personality. You acknowledge that culture, but you don't allow that culture define your marriage, because the marriage is between the both of you. Okay, not the culture, but you've married into that culture by virtue of accepting this woman, accepting that man. Okay, so now what was your family's position when you were going through all of this?
I just have to smile because I'm blessed. I'm
Oh, wow.
just blessed. I'm really, really blessed. Like that's like an awe moment. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
really?
for me, like I said, I was in a box. I wasn't allowed to relate with people, even my own family member. I remember that I missed my dad's 75th birthday because this man just made sure I didn't go. He didn't say don't go, but this has a way of making sure that you don't do things that you want to do, things to associate with people, relate with people.
Mm.
He just come up with something. So my family didn't know anything. I was the first girl. I was the first person to get married. I have an elder brother, but I was the first person to get married. So, for such a long time, even when I started seeing everything that was happening, I thought, oh, okay, this is just something I have to sort out, deal with on my own. I don't want my parents or my family to be disappointed in me, like I have to just keep this together and make them think that everything is going on well. So for years and years and years and years, my family didn't know anything that was going on. I remember I mentioned my mentor. So that incident that I said happened, just came into the room where I was that day and he was started throwing things. He take this stroke, was breaking things, I was just like ducking my head. So I managed to run out of the room, pick up my phone, and I called my mentor. That day she was livid. She said, Jola, is your mom and dad still alive? I said, yes, ma. She said, give me your daddy's phone. She called my dad, told my dad, if you want your daughter alive, go and take her away from that marriage before that man kills her.
But some people don't have the privilege of getting to that point. Some people actually, a lot of people leave the marriage, but you leave in two ways. It's either you leave willingly or you are carried out of it. Go ahead, please. Wow.
Now, that was the first time my parents obviously were like, what? They were in shock. So my dad gets on the phone, calls me, what's going on, I really couldn't talk. He just said, just be coming home, and everything like that. So I left on that occasion, told them everything. I said, why didn't you say anything all this? I said, I thought that I was going to disappoint you. I didn't know what to say. And then, when they say marriage, till death, it's forever. I mean, what's that thing? Or better for all of those things that you say in marriage and all of that. And I was teasing one of my friends who was like a spirit coco the other day. I said, please, where's the vow? That vow, where is it in the Bible? And she said, it's there. I said, yeah, I think she's watching. I was waiting for her. She said, it's actually not there. It's another one that is there. I said, that thing is not in the Bible. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But the truth is, it's not in the Bible. So my parents were, no.
It's man-made.
No, I remember my dad said something that I'd rather have a divorced daughter than a dead daughter.
Ooh.
So I was
Ooh.
Yeah,
exactly.
I was in my house for about 2 to 3 weeks, and he came with his parents. He came with his parents. Somebody says, "How about those of us who don't have parents?"
We're getting there.
I think for me, the guilt of disappointing your family. So he came with his parents. They came to say he was sorry, he won't abuse me again. I remember my dad telling him to sign an undertaking, things like that. And I thought, oh, at least this that has happened, things will change. So I went back. But unfortunately, a year since I went back, now my dad, because like I said, I'm the first daughter, I'm very close to my dad. So he will always call me to check on me at least every week, 2 times a week. How are you? How is it going? Sometimes I tell him, oh, I'm tired, this one, that one, that one. But he was always checking on me. One day, an incident happened. Barely after a year when I went back, and I just called my dad, He had spoken to me rudely in public and sent me away from like a church setting and asked me to leave the place, and all of that. And I think that there's something broke in me. And I just called my dad and said, Dad, I can't stay in this marriage anymore. Where are you? I'm going to send a car to come and pick you. Till tomorrow. I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. Okay, maybe some people don't know who my dad is. My dad is an Anglican priest. What about that?
Your dad
Yes,
is an Anglican priest. And
he
he's still
is
an
a
Anglican
venerable. My dad is
priest.
a venerable.
Wow. Wow. See, look, this thing you just said about your dad, it just makes me say, look, a broken marriage, hear me, people, a broken marriage is better than a broken life. A broken marriage is better than it is better than a broken life. Hear this, okay? So if she did not have a father, okay, for those who are saying, what of those who don't have parents? Look, that's what, like she said earlier on, a narcissist will make sure they isolate their victims, okay? As much as it is possible, have that one or two people that you know that you can rely on. Do you understand? And I promise you, do not allow cultural standards or standards that are set by society and things mitigate what happens in your life. Okay? Do not, because that is the position where we find a lot of ourselves in. And then we start saying, oh, I don't want to disappoint my family. I don't want to disappoint society. Okay, guess what? What if you as a victim, what if you lose your life there? What will society say? They'll say, oh, we didn't know. How did we know? If we had known, but why didn't she speak? Oh, and the funny thing is, a percentage of those people who will be saying, why didn't she speak? They were aware of your situation.
And even the ones that will tell you to keep praying. You know, God hates divorce. Stay there, keep praying. The Lord, there's nothing the Lord cannot. There is nothing my Lord cannot do. There is nothing.
There is nothing. Now there's a new one now. Carry me, they go. Jehovah, carry me, they go. My husband house. Really? Really? Which husband? Oh, our people. Carry me, they go. My husband house. Do you understand? No. Are you, like you said, see, like we said earlier on, are you getting married to an idea of a person, or you're getting married to the what instead of the who? And the who is a function of you understanding that person. What are their values? What are their beliefs? Okay, what are what is the person's character? What is the person's character? Like I said something earlier on here, I mean, in one of my videos more recent, I said, look, what forms you? Is it your education? Is it your environment or your experience? These three E's. No, they don't. Education, what does it do? Education informs you. All right? Your experience forms you. Your environment. Do you understand? Your environment, it builds who you are. But they do not define who you are. Your character is what defines who you are. People might forget how you enter a place, but they'll never forget how you exit that place. People might forget what you say to them, but they'll never forget how you make them feel.
Absolutely. You know, I just really am grateful to God when I think about my family and how God has just used them to be a great support, to understand it, because I've heard so many stories of people who will tell their families that they are being beaten and abused, and they say, stay there. What do you want people to say? The society. Let them not say that I'm the one that came to take my child away from her. You don't, you know, your room, once you go, you don't have your room here again. My dad said, no, you don't. In fact, when I eventually left, it was my mom. My mom was part of the crew. My mom was inside the car that came to carry me. My mom. You know, and I'm just so, because one thing also you need to know about narcissists, especially if the abuser is a narcissist, is they have a deluded reality. You know, this person that I'm talking about actually filed for divorce. I left in October. In December, this person filed for divorce. And when the person filed for divorce, the person made all sorts of allegations and accusations. And one of the things they said that made me laugh was that I had eloped with another man. And I was thinking to myself, thank God that it was even my mom that came to pick me, because if it wasn't my mom, and because the divorce papers was sent to my parents' house because I wasn't in Nigeria. I said, my mom, you must be. I was telling my mom that you must be a man or that I eloped with, like, because you are the one that came to pick me. And that is, a narcissist will look at me. I'm wearing like, okay, a yellow top with blue flowers. They will say, Jola, that top you're wearing is black. Like just pure black. And I'm like, no, it's not black, it's yellow. They be like, you're very stupid, you don't engage your brain, you're so foolish. How can you say this is yellow? It is black. By the time they finish with you, you said, yes, I'm wearing black. And then you're going about telling everybody, do you like my black top? And everybody's looking at you weird, like, duh, you're not wearing a black top. You're wearing, So they make things up in their head and they tell you that thing, that this is what is happening. A lot of times they'll make up. So if you're listening and you're living with a narcissist, don't think that something is wrong with your brain when they are telling you things that are not true and they are making you believe that those lies are actually true. Is it not you? We caught you with one man. This person wrote in the divorce paper that I eloped with another man. How? I don't even know the words to use. How deluded can you be? You don't have facts. You don't have anything. You are writing it inside an official document. But this is the way they live their lives. Narcissists are anything to make them look good. Narcissists makes things up that they are not true. They will just they can't, sometimes they can't even tell their own name. You ask them their name, they have to say another name because there's just so much lies in their head. So it is not you. What I normally say to my clients when they come, the first thing we deal with, and a lot of people when we deal with it, they're just crying. And I say, I understand why you are crying. Because I say the abuse was not your fault. And they just break down. I said, it's okay, cry. And we keep, in fact, there was one that I had to tell to write it down, on a sheet of paper, right? Said the abuse is not my fault. Because the person has made you believe that the abuse is your fault. That everything that went wrong is your fault. And then you go through life second-guessing yourself. You go through life that if anything happens between you and anybody else, automatically you believe you are the one that did something wrong. Because you go through life believing that something is wrong with you, that you are wrong. I'm wrong. So if I'm in a relationship with you and anything happens, no, it is me. I'm wrong. You go to that, but it is a lie. You are not wrong. You are right. Do you know who created you? The person that looked at you after he finished creating you and said, you are very good. So I tell people, yes, you might have gone through that abuse and it is not your fault. But guess what? You have a responsibility of healing. And time doesn't heal. Being intentional actually heals.
Let me going ahead of because I want to ask you that. So okay, Jolan, I have a few questions here, a few more questions, and then we'll just, I don't know if people out there, I think I've seen some questions there, but they might have people probably could have put their question in the question button. How can someone put it together? Yes, so see, look at people. What you do, see, there's an icon here that has the question mark here. Put your questions there. So when I'm done with the questions, when I'm done with my questions for her, then I will treat your questions. Okay, people, just whatever questions you have, look at the bottom of the screen here. There's a little icon there with a question mark. Put your questions there. Okay, people. So Jola, you had said something about there was one night that was like, when you called your dad and said, look, you're done. I'm not. Was that your defining moment? Was that the defining moment for you? So that was and because I remember when I started actively talking about domestic violence and abuse, I said there are actually 4 ways that we can help victims. Because understand this as a background that victims are not in their right frame of mind. Their mind has been manipulated. Their mind has been distorted. So number 1, when they come to you, when they summon the courage to come and speak out, please believe them. Because a lot of times people will tell you that, oh, this is what is happening to me, and they'll be like, really? Are you sure? But it is their truth. It happened to them.
So when they come and tell you something, believe them. Because you know what happens when you don't believe them? It's like there's already a wound. And I'm trying to get my wound healed, and somebody comes and punches that wound. You are not the one that created the wound, but because you punched the wound, you are also causing me pain. So believe them when they come to you. Secondly, be patient with them. Please be patient with them. Understand that, like I said, they're not in the right frame of mind. Their mind has been manipulated. Sometimes they don't. The first time I left, my mentor wasn't happy with me because she was like, why do you have to go back? But you know, at that point in time, I've not gotten to the place. And which is why I said, I'll come to the next one now. In fact, the last one is my favorite. Be patient with them. Because right now, they are trying to make sense of things. Don't give up. Don't say, I've already told her to leave and she didn't leave. If she calls me again, I'm not going to pick her call. If you say she needs my help, no, just be there for them. Show them empathy. You know, the Bible talks about Job. When Job had when Job experienced the trauma in his life, that Job's friend came to meet him, and they saw Job sitting on the floor. The Bible said Job's friend sat on the floor with him for 7 days and 7 nights. He didn't say a word to him. That's what true friendship and true relationship is. Being there for him. Just let them know. Yeah. Sometimes just send them a message. Hi sis, hi bro. I just want you to know that I'm thinking of you and I'm here for you. Those things are registering in their subconscious. You're letting them know that, okay, you are there for them. Be patient with them. Show them empathy. Don't just talk and say, why didn't you leave? No, they're not in the right frame of mind. It's like you're talking to somebody that has psychosis. You're not going to be angry with that person if that person slaps you. You know it's not them. Now, the last one that I love so much is take matters into your own hands. Take matters into your own hands. So what do I mean by that? Go and speak to somebody. Because a lot of times when victims, I mean, a good example was the Osinachi story. A lot of people that wanted to do something said, please, don't say anything. She wasn't in the right frame of mind. So when you know that somebody is in danger, and you personally cannot do anything about it, there is always somebody that has influence that can intervene. Go and speak to that person. Now, what my mentor did was that she took matters into her own hands. She didn't say, make sure you call your dad and tell your dad. If she told me that, I would never have called my dad. She took matters into her own hands. So if you're living in the Western world, for instance, go and call the police. Call the police and see. Domestic violence and abuse is not limited to Geographical area. It's not limited to Africa. In June, last month, 2 streets away from where I live, a man strangled his wife to death. The UK here.
In the UK.
And you say, they've been together for years. Why didn't the lady call the police? Back to what I said. Her mind has been distorted. Her mind has been messed up. So even though she knows that she will get help, this man kept telling her, this man has brainwashed her. So take matters into your own hands. If you're in the Western world, even if you're not sure, you just sense. Go and speak to the authorities. The people next door, I just think something might be going on. Just so that we're not saying, just check. Keep an eye. Yes. If you're maybe not where you can rely on the authorities as much, there will be somebody that has influence. See, I knew that, again, because I said, and let me also say this before I go that at the beginning you said we are not casting aspersion on the church, we are all part of the church. So even though there are people in the church that has caused us pain, there are also a lot of people in the church that has brought us peace. If not for my mentor, who is a pastor, I normally say that she's the chapter 1 in my journey to freedom. And I'm grateful to God for my life. I'm grateful to God for her life. And I just want to celebrate you, Reverend Funke Felix Adejumo. That's what I've been talking about. She's the one that called my dad. She had the boldness, the passion of a mother to say, no, I'm not going to allow another one to die in domestic violence. And it wasn't common, but she did it. So that's what I mean by take matters into your, don't just sit there and say, it's not my business. So, and then when the person's like, say, and I knew, no, the bad person's blood will be on your head. That's the truth of it. So
exactly.
Yes, at that point in time. Sometimes it takes a while for the brain of the abuse to figure out what is going on. So for me, for years, I couldn't. So now I knew that this was abuse. I knew that there was a problem. So my mind started to work it, started to work it. But what happened to me that day is like, you know, when you have a rubber band and you keep stretching the rubber band, you know, you can pull it, use it. I know we ladies, we probably use that. You always use the rubber to pack your hair, One day you will try to use to pack your hair and the rubber snaps. Once that rubber band snaps, that's the end of the rubber band. You've been stretching it, pulling it, using it, doing a lot of this, it's been still there. But when it snaps, so I think that day something snapped in me and I was like, that's it. It's gone. That's it. Finished. Nothing again.
Wow. See, everything you've said here right now, especially in how you healed, okay? And, you know, I said this conversation right now, for those of you who are here, for those who just joined, okay, I've been talking to the soul doctor, Jola Grace Emmanuel, who is, she's a coach. She's a life coach. She's a mentor. She helps people reinvent themselves. She helps people. She's someone who has suffered abuse and domestic violence, suicide ideation, and all through this, she's been able to pick herself up, of course, by the help of a supportive community. She's been able to reinvent who she is, and she is charged with this mandate to help people come out of abusive relationships, marriages, whatever it is. You don't have to wait until it is your last breath that you use to call, and then after the call, you've passed out and you've passed on, okay? You don't have to wait. Always make sure, and you know when we talked about, you know, going through this thing, see, the truth is, because I said, like, on this, my live, Instagram live streams, is like, we're here to be vulnerable, to help somebody out there. I know that my own kid sister is going through something similar, you know, even if it's not, there's no physical abuse and all of that, you know, and all of these methods are things that I've been applying. You know, I think I was on the phone with her today, and I said to her, because it took a while for her to get to the point where she's like, I'm done. You know, we've been telling her, you know, sometimes my mom tries to, like, you know, put pressure. I tell her, I say, no, calm down. She'll understand that she's been going through this for a while. And we've understood. I said, this guy's a narcissist, and she's understood it, okay? Even when she tries to do something like, oh, no, you want this marriage over because you've met someone else. She said, no, must it be because I've met someone else? And then, I remember I was having a conversation with her today, and she was like, no. She was like, you know, to sign it off, she said, oh, you want to, after 16 years of, so this is what you want. I said, look. I said, that is a playbook. I told her, I said, that is a playbook. And for so long, you have been playing like that his book. And so every time he brings out that book, you play by it. So what happens is that when he says, oh, after 16 years, you want to go, and then you say, hey, what about you? And he said, think about the children. So what about you? Once you said, no, once you respond to him, when he said, don't you think about the children? Once you respond and say, oh, you didn't think about children, you have opened the gateway for him to continue. So I said, look, the next time, look, when he brings those playbooks, he knows it's over. When he brings those playbooks out, you understand? And those lines, he say, yes, I'm done. No, I don't want to. So learn right now to start using one-liners for him that literally draws the line. But he knows. And of course, he knows that she has a supportive community around her. And he knows it's over. And people, the reason why I'm using my own sister as a case study here in question is because we're not coming here to come and sell an idea to you. We're coming here to bring experiences to you. Real life experiences that people have gone through or are going through, so that you can heal from it. You can learn from it. The mistakes that people make, so you don't make them. Okay, we're here because we've had to ride on the shoulders of giants, people who have paved the way for us. So we here standing today, we come from a place of experience to help you also go through to get to. Okay, so Jola, this has just been honestly, it's been honestly. I know that the few questions here, and the truth is, Jola, a lot of people are not bold enough to speak. And that's why we find out that there are a lot of cases that you get to find out about the victim or find out about those situations at the very end or when it's too late. Okay? And because of the fear of being stigmatized, the fear of being of being called a castaway or a sellout. My goodness, honestly, that's a whole lot. You know, there's a friend of mine who went through stuff like that, and honestly, I'm still going to bring her on here. Her story is just amazing. So, Jola, I'm going to ask you now. I know you've spoken about these things. These are the methods. These are the key things to do to help these people. But you, as a person who went through this process, how did you heal? Yes, you had your mentor, Reverend Felix Funkadijumo, who I respect so much, ma'am. And you had your father, of course, and your mom. But how did, because it's one thing for them to speak to you, and it's another thing for you to take those things in and implement and let those things create that transformation. How did you heal?
First of all, I'll just say healing is a journey. Okay? You need to be committed to that journey. You need to first of all decide that I'm going to heal. And I normally tell people that the first reason why you need to heal is because you're a value carrier. In fact, because of the value that you're carrying, that you went through everything that you went through. So you must not now come out and say my life is over, because there is something in you that your world is waiting for. There is something unique about you. The Bible says before we were formed in our mother's womb, God knew us and He ordained us. Ordination there doesn't mean He's giving you a call to say be a pastor. He ordained you, mean He chose you, He gave you an assignment. He put value on your inside that your world is waiting for. There's one thing I normally say is that our feelings are valid. So, I mean, I normally encourage people to feel their feelings. There's some. I remember there was sometime I was coaching someone one-on-one, and I was asking about the person's emotions. I said, I don't have emotions. I've killed my emotion. I say, you want to die? What is a tripartite being? You have a spirit, you have a soul, you have a body. Your soul consists of your emotion, your will, and your mind. You cannot say you don't have emotions. You have emotions. So your feelings are valid, but guess what? You cannot allow your feelings to now control your life. So I've been through abuse. I feel sad, I feel depressed, I feel cheated, I feel hurt, I feel all this negative feeling. But I need to come to a place where I gradually start getting rid of those feelings and see it is a journey. I spoke about forgiveness. Do I forgive my abuser? One of my IG lives. You can go to my handle, you will still see it there. And people are saying that, do I need to forgive my abuser? I said, yes, you're supposed to forgive your abuser, but see, it's not something you just say, now I forgive my abuser, that's the end. You're deceiving yourself. That thing took time. It will take time also for you to forgive. But the first thing is to make the decision. I'm going to forgive this person. So for me, I made the decision that I'm going to heal. Okay, and I started, is also, you know, you talked about stigma. The stigma, we need to keep talking about it and keep talking about it and keep talking about it until it diffuses, because especially in the African culture, we think that if you mention therapy, it's synonymous with psychosis or village people, something horrible going on. Man is a tripartite being. I can't overemphasize that. You have a spirit, you have a soul, you have a body. If you have a spiritual problem, you go to your pastor to pray for you. If you have a physical problem, you go to the doctor, they prescribe something to you. If you have a problem in your soul, please go and see a therapist. Don't die from heart issues. Don't die from depression, from those negative. Go and see a therapist. I had different therapists. I committed myself to being treated, to treating the wound of my soul. Because I know that if I don't heal from what hurts me, I will bleed on the people that didn't cut me. This is so important. Sometimes you just think that with time I'll be okay. No, you'll not be okay. If you have a physical wound and you tell yourself and you cover that wound up, you say, don't worry, this wound, don't worry, it's okay. With time, by the time I bring this hand out and next week it will be healed. Hello? You're deceiving yourself. The wound will get worse, it will decay, it will probably start having sepsis, and it will just go horrible. You need to take care of yourself.
And you have to end up off that place. You have to end up cutting off that arm or the leg.
So you have to be intentional about your healing. Seek a professional therapist, seek a coach, seek somebody that can hold you through your journey of healing. And it is a journey. I keep saying that it's not a sprint, it is a marathon. You must be patient with yourself because what happened to you took years. So don't just, sometimes people come to me and they're like, I feel I should be okay by now and I'm not okay. And I'm feeling bad and I'm not okay. I'm like, don't do that to yourself. Just be patient with yourself. Let us track your progress. Let's check where you are a month ago. Let's check where you are. Can't you see you're making progress? Come on, give yourself a tap. Tell yourself, well done. So you've come a long way. You've done this. You can do more. But always just make sure you have that. So that's what I did. I follow through therapy sessions. I had my community changed. I had to change my community. See, there's some very important. You cannot heal if you keeping certain people in your life. So you know the people. Oh my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. There are some functions that I discovered on this phone and social media. I love those functions. Should I tell you? Don't tell anybody, you guys. Promise you're not telling anybody. There's one called block.
Yes, please.
I love it.
Block
function. Another one is called mute. I love mute button. See, I tell people that the most important to me right now is my peace and my tranquility. I say,
if you cost your peace,
I tell people that don't sell your peace because you'll be able to spend the proceeds. You go and sell your peace. What? How are you going to spend the proceeds? You can't spend the proceeds. See, everybody will not like you. I was there once in my life. I wanted people to like me. I would do anything for people to like me. I would, even if I'm dying like this, I say, come on, this, I'll go and do it. But I realized that, hey, everybody cannot like me. And I asked myself, Jola, do you like everybody? I said, no, of course I don't like everybody. So why do I think everybody will like me? Everybody will not like you because in fact, people's like for you doesn't really add anything to you. It's your like for yourself that makes all the difference. Because people will look at you, they will check how you are treating you, and that's the way they will treat you. I went to a store one day. I love flowers, and I would always pass through the flower, and I'm like, oh, these flowers are so beautiful. I wish somebody would just buy me these flowers. And one day, I believe it was this spirit that said to me, buy the flowers for yourself. I'm like, eh? How can I buy myself flowers? No, eh? No way, like a child, no. And I was having my conversation. I ended up buying myself the flowers, and I was so happy. I was like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. And since then, it's like about 3 years ago now, I always have fresh flowers in my house. So people will look at you, how you treat it. I love myself. People will treat you the way you treat you. So there are some people that you are allowing to be in your life because you want to be liked, so that you can feel good about yourself, but they are stressing you and they are hindering your healing. You must have
validation,
the boldness, the courage to mute. See, and sometimes it is for a season. Just there might be a season in your life that I'm not strong enough to just keep following this person and seeing what they are writing. It's triggering me. It's upsetting me. It's making this wound not heal. So let me just close my mind to this, because the Bible says, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it comes the issue of life. Your heart is so important. And your eyes and your ears are the gateway to your heart, to your soul. So what you're reading, what you're seeing, is not every content that you need to read. It's not every content that is good for you. So environment, what do you do in your environment? I assess environment, I niche that, I cut down to people I was relating with all due respect. I cut down people I was relating, and I started developing myself. I knew I had to unlearn a lot of things. I had to relearn. I'm still learning. I'm reading. You know, I'm getting to go into relationships, not as to relate to people afresh. Because if you don't heal, you will look at everybody in your life with the lenses of the person that hurt you. So this lens, for instance, is like a dark shade, or let's say a green tinted lens. And I'm here, I'm going to say, Joseph, you're wearing a green top. In fact, your background is so green. I feel like, duh, it's not green. I'm wearing a green top. No, it's green. I can see green, and I'm right. What I can see through my eyes is green. But guess what? I've got the wrong lens on. If I remove this, I probably will see you clearly. So if you don't heal, you will start relating with people, and then you'll be shooting yourself in the foot. Someone is supposed to be a blessing to you. Someone is supposed to connect you with somebody. You're like, no, hey, that's where they all men are, all women are, these people are, because you haven't healed. So it's so critical and so important for you to embark on that journey of healing. Seek a therapist. I'm a professional life and trauma recovery coach and therapist, and I will be happy to handhold you. In fact, I have there's a program I do every month which is free for victims of domestic violence and abuse. It's called Soul Spa. You can go to my bio and click on the link to register, because it's important for you to keep, you know, the way you go to the spa to go and get a massage, your soul too needs spa, because all of those emotions, all of those things are there. And you need to keep that, so you need to guard that soul so that you can excel in every area of your life. I normally say this, and I believe that the prosperity of the soul is the foundation of the prosperity of every other area of our lives. But the Bible says, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers.
Absolutely. So, wow. This has been, I know we've been here for almost 2 hours. My goodness. I know I can. I know I can literally take a whole day with you. I know somebody put in 2 questions here. Please, if you have questions, there's an icon down here at the bottom of the screen. It has the question mark there. Please put your questions in there, and I'll ask Coach Jola. Okay, I'll bring it before her. Okay, my last question for you, I'll say is, Coach Jola, you are a therapist. You are an emotional and you're a life and emotional therapist. You life improvement therapist. There's one of you. This is you here, and I know that there are a lot of other people who are probably doing the same path that you are following right now. I would say it's not everybody that has the access to information that will transform them. Not everybody is able to connect to people like you, or have the privilege to see things on social media or have access to social media. Okay, there are people who probably don't even know how to use cell phones. Okay, very well. There are people who are in areas where technology is still a process that they're learning. So my question to you now is this: how can society help curb this thing, this disease? I know if one can reach the other, we can all reach everybody. What do you suggest? Like, I know you said a lot of things here on how to help, but how can society, I know, is it a function of, okay, if you have information about someone that's going through this, you know, try to implement some of these things that you've said, or is there any other thing you'd advise before I jump into the questions that they have for you here?
Well, we still need to use all the tools that we have. Social media, the media, getting information. Everybody needs to know about domestic violence and abuse, because you cannot solve a problem that you don't know. If you don't know that is a problem, you cannot help. So, but when you know, so when you see it, you recognize that this is a problem. Okay, and then you can do something about it. And also, I think we also need to begin to take precautions, because yes, we're now trying to put out a lot of fire, but what about we actually stopping the fire from happening? So before people get into marriage, there are personality tests. People should even go for professional counseling, not just church counseling. So a lot of people go for church counseling, but professional counseling, go and see a psychologist, see psychologists, sit down with them. You do a personality test. Okay, talk about things before you get in there, so that there's any problem, you can know at that point before you get in. Because it's always, even though we say a broken marriage is better than a broken life, the truth is also a broken engagement is better than a broken marriage. So I think that we need to also begin to think a lot about precautions. People that are getting, even our school curriculums, we must let them know in school that this is bullying, this is abuse, you shouldn't tolerate it. And you shouldn't do it. You should respect other people's boundaries. You should respect people as well, because people don't think that there's anything wrong with it. So I think we just need to begin to deploy all the tools that we have, media, social media, verbal, whatever, wherever people are, one tells one, let's just keep spreading the news and propaganda and let people know as well, these are the signs. If you see it, don't enter into it. It's better.
Exactly. So those red flags, watch out for it, people. Like I always say to people, I say, look, marriage is not a rescue mission. It's not. It's not a rescue mission. And understand this, that two halves don't come together to make a whole. Two wholes come together to make one whole. That's the mystery of it. So you have to be whole. You both have to be whole before you come together. You don't come with broken. See, two broken people will come and all they will produce is brokenness. Understand that. Understand that. Remember this. Two halves don't come together to make a whole. If that's the ideology you have, change it. Change that mindset. It's two wholes that come together to make one whole. So you are bringing a complete person, a whole person. It's not as if you are perfect. You're not perfect, but you have something to work with. You are whole. You have healed from wherever you're coming from. So you are not bringing that in. Because if you don't heal, what would happen is your relationship with whoever it is you're with will actually be walking on the backdrop of where you're coming from. And what you'll be producing will basically be an extension of everything that you brought from where you're coming from. All right? Because your external, your environment, who you are, what you see, the external manifestations you have around you are a result of your internal reflections, what is going on the inside of you. Remember that. Okay? Because I say, look, your mind is literally what corners and covers everything. Your mind goes first. Your mind is what makes the journey. Your body cannot effectively position itself where your mind has not first gone to. It's your mind that makes the journey. So if you have not decongested your mind, what you're doing is, look, you can change your location. It's okay, I've left this person, we're no longer living in the same house. Yes, all you've just done a physical shift. You've not done a mental shift. The mental shift is the first thing that happens. The mental shift, the mental liberation is what first happens. So you mentally, separate yourself from that. But you could even be in the same house. But mentally, if you've separated yourself from that person, and part of the process is,
sorry to cut you. I just thought I would just chime this in. What you're saying is so powerful, because even after I physically exited, I was hearing this person's voice in my head. To the extent that I was having suicide ideation. Because I felt I was useless.
There you go.
I can't amount to anything. I can't do anything right. I just wanted to jump in front of a train. Because the voice was inside my head so loud and so strong. That was when I knew that I needed help.
Exactly. So for you as an individual, if making the physical shift or geographical repositioning will save your life, do that first of all, especially if your life is in danger. Do that first of all before you start going through the mental transformation and the mental exit. Okay, people, remember this. All right. I have questions here because I want to make sure that we're done in the next 20 minutes. Okay, we have like 4 questions from 2 people. I am G_Ade just says, how can how can someone heal after all the damage? How can someone heal after all the damage?
Well, I think
I know you've answered that question in a way, but how do you have an?
I think I kind of touched on that already. Know that you can heal. Okay, and know that you need to heal because you're a value carrier, and make up your mind that you're going to heal. Then seek help. Don't just think that time will tell. You will heal because of time. You need to be intentional about your healing. You need to seek the right resources, get the right tools, speak to a therapist. Have the right community, the right people around you, because that is also so important. What they say about the people around you makes your life, determines what you are. I'm so grateful for the kind of relationships and friends that I have now, because every day we talk to ourselves about becoming a better version of ourselves. Have people that you can be genuinely vulnerable with. Because, I mean, this is not a conversation about vulnerability, but we can't start that because we will not finish it. Because even though you need to be vulnerable, you cannot be vulnerable with everybody, because some people will take advantage of your vulnerability, which is why the environment, the people, the relationships around you is so important. So, I mean, that's what I would say again. And also did mention that there are a lot of resources on my page. I have a free program, like a good therapy session coming up on the 11th of June, and it's free. Bio and registered for that as well.
Awesome. So the next question, and people, please, you can chime in, okay? The next question is, I don't know if this is a question, said low self-esteem and lack of confidence. Like, how do you overcome low self-esteem and lack of confidence?
That's a whole masterclass on its own. In fact,
but do you have like
I actually do also have a workbook. Boost your self-esteem and confidence in 21 days. That is also in my bio. You can go and get that as well. You know, the thing is, you need to understand that what has happened to you, like I said before, is not your fault. Okay? But then you need to begin to find out who you are. You cannot love, because low self-esteem means that you don't love yourself. You talk negatively to yourself. You try to be in people's good books. You want everybody to like you. You have a problem expressing yourself, you know, for what you need. That was one of the things I dealt with, because your mind has been conditioned that if I say I need something, if I want to express myself, it will be problem. You know, I'll be abused, I'll be this. So you just keep everything inside yourself. And then you feel that I don't even have a voice, I'm not allowed, I'm not entitled. So all of this is self-esteem. You don't like yourself. But you cannot love what you don't know. If I tell you that, okay, I keep using this example. Okay, if I tell you that I love water, you know what I want to say? I'll say, Jerry, because I was going to drink it once. If I tell you that I love Coke, it means that Coca-Cola, let me reframe it. It's Coca-Cola that I love. I'm not able to this advice.
Yes, not Coke.
Let me just say, if I tell you that I love Coca-Cola, it's because I've tasted it, and I know that when I'm drinking it with some ice cubes after a long day of hard work, oh my God, it's so nice. I can tell you about the taste, how it makes you feel, because I've experienced it. Yeah. If I haven't experienced it, I can't tell you, I love Coca-Cola. I'd be like, I've even tasted it before. If I tell you I love Coca Stedica, I don't know if you will believe me. I love Coca Skadaka. Does it even exist? You don't even know what it is.
It doesn't. Exactly.
So before you start developing your self-esteem, you first of all need to discover, who am I? Who is this person? Discover yourself, accept yourself.
Exactly.
Some of us don't accept ourselves. You don't accept what you see, what you discover. You're like, sometimes physically you don't like your nose, you don't like your ear, you don't like your leg, you feel like you tall, you feel like you short. Excuse me, who crafted you? Hello?
Exactly.
Who crafted you?
Exactly.
When you were crafted, when your manufacturer finished making you, he looked at you and said, very good. So it doesn't matter what you look like physically. Hello, you are very good. Forget about what somebody said. Your legs are too tall, your kiniko is too shaky, your stomach is too big. Hello, I didn't know that crafted you. Your manufacturer said you are very good. End of discussion.
That's right.
The movie I ended, the end.
All right.
Everybody go. So accept yourself. True. Accept that this is who I am. You know, I say jokingly that I really love to sing. In fact, I've sometimes just gone to, and don't laugh, okay? I've gone to record. No,
for all intents and purposes, this is not about singing. Please
and then my mentee would tell me that, okay, I said, what? You know, imagine if in my head I'm obsessed with the fact that, and it's not as if I can't sing, but not to an extent of being a professional. So if in my head, I think I'm like,
True. Okay.
this is me. Like, I love what I do. I can talk till tomorrow. You will be talking. I can facilitate. I facilitate from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. before in a training. I do one-on-one and where I love it. I feel so much. So I finally found out that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But imagine if I didn't accept that. I'm telling myself, that's singing. Imagine when Celine Dion is singing. Okay, let me even leave Celine Dion. Imagine when Sinach is singing. No, they are noisy. Imagine even JB here when he's just, and I'm like, man, I'm just visualizing myself. You know, if you can think it, you can be it. Let me visualize myself as an artist. I can sing. Hello. I'll be frustrated because I've discovered myself. I'm not an artist. So why am I? And you know, a lot of people live their life in frustration like that, and then because you're not good. Oh my goodness! Sometimes when I watch these musical shows, and I'm like, who lied to you? Who deceived you? Who told you you can sing? But you know, some people actually obsess, and because they keep trying to do this and they keep getting rejected, guess what? That is destroying their esteem more and more and more. When you discover you accept you the way you are, because God, there's one question I asked, I said, Jola, are you wiser than God? Child, I will now think, I will say, I'm sorry. Because God knew what he was doing when he created and when he put what he put inside you or your inside. Accept yourself. Now, when you discover, develop, accept, start growing. Start learning. So even if I say, okay, I love speaking, I'm still trying to earn my skill. I'm still doing training, I'm still doing courses to become an expert in this thing that I know that I've been called to do. So these are just some snippets. Of course, there's so many other things that you can do to develop your self-esteem, positive affirmations, you know, all of those things. But like I said, so many resources on my profile.
Okay. All right, I have two more questions here. I know we have like three more minutes. I have two more questions. Can you do with these questions real quick? This one says, how do I encourage my spouse to take therapy? That's the first one. And then the second is also the person claims that they can solve the problem by themselves. And then this person asking this question is they're having this trauma from losing a loved one. Yeah. So like, how do I encourage my husband to take therapy? And the person says that they can, they can go through the thing themselves. They can solve the situation themselves. Like,
okay, so if this is grief related, so I need to separate it. If it's abuse, okay, because sometimes you get people, and I say that every abusive relationship should be dealt with as an individual case, because no two cases are the same. Okay, which is why we always say seek professional help, speak to a therapist. They will help you to assess your own condition. So if it's an abusive relationship, especially if you're dealing with a narcissist, they will tell you there's nothing wrong with them because it's one of their characteristics, which unfortunately is why narcissists rarely change. Because as far as they're concerned, they are perfect. You are the one that has a problem. Why on earth am I going to see a therapist? You are the one that has issues. Now, if it's in a grief situation, like somebody has lost someone, in fact, you know, there's a couple of people that I'm actually taking through that grief therapy at the moment. You need to understand that people deal with grief differently. Because no matter who the person that passed away is, the two of you don't have the same relationship with them. The two of you are two different personalities and you will deal with it differently. So you cannot put pressure on the other person to do what you are doing. You must give them time. Allow them. So be there for them. Keep encouraging them, but give them time to process it themselves. So just like, don't be like, you have to go as a therapist, you need to see a therapist. Suggest it, but let them know that I'm here for you, I care for you, I appreciate and love you regardless. So I think I'll just leave that as that.
Okay. Okay, I hope that has answered your question. Classic underscore Kelly. Wow. This has been this has been mind blowing and revealing. People, I hope you have learned a lot from this session. And like I said earlier, when we started, okay, I'd advise you guys to share this live feed because there's somebody who will definitely get value from this. Okay, and we are not about we are not selling an idea to you guys. Okay, we are selling an experience to you. Okay, and these experiences are born out of the journey that we've had to go through, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. Okay, I started this was born out of my journey, my process of rediscovery, and also bringing people who've got experiences, who have a story, because people are tired of listening to scripted version of life experiences. They want experiences that are relatable. And right here, Coach Jola is someone who has gone through abuse and domestic violence, and most especially she went through that in church. Okay, people, she went through that in church, and a lot of us go through that. A lot of us in church are going through this, but we can't speak out because of the fear of being called out, or the fear of stigmatization, the fear of disappointing family and society, your community. Look, one thing you should understand is at the end of the day, God forbid anything happens to you, this individual, male or female, the same society and the same environment and the same family, yes, there will be grief for a moment, but they will move on. And guess what? You're no more. The same people who were trying to inform your decisions, there will be no more. They will move on, and you'll be no more. Kojola, thank you so much for taking out time to be here. Thank you for being willing to be vulnerable and share your story and your process with us. Thank you so much. It's been revealing. It's been a transformation. It's been transformational. It's been educational. It's just been everything. Thank you so much for all of you who joined. I hope you've gotten value, and I hope your questions have been answered. And if you do have any further questions, or you want to connect with Coach Jola on a one-to-one, please, her Instagram handle is at Jola Grace Emmanuel. She's a certified coach who has been telling me for the longest to get certified, Joseph. She's a certified coach, okay, and she's available to take one-on-one sessions with you and take you through processes, okay? Please do not be afraid to speak out. Do not be ashamed to stand out. Do not be afraid to speak out. Do not be ashamed to stand out. Remember that, somebody listening to me here today. Do not be afraid to speak out. Do not be ashamed to stand out. What happens is you're standing out. Guess what? You are shining a light. You are shining a light. Okay? And when you shine a light upon something, it illuminates that place. So if there's a certain level of darkness that needs to be illuminated, and maybe there's a transformation that needs to happen in the lives of those who are around there, it'll happen. Thank you once again, Coach Jola. Thank you for your time here. We sincerely appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you so much for watching. Please be kind enough to like this video and subscribe to my channel. That way you get notifications whenever I post new content. Thank you.